If we look at the 2023 preseason rankings for the NBA championship, we will see that the Los Angeles Lakers fall in the 10th spot. But compared to any other NBA season, I'm going to show some shocking results that give the Lakers a solid chance to be title contenders. In fact, there are 5 reasons that the Lakers have an incredible opportunity to bring home the chip this season. I am the NBA white guy. I talk all things NBA hoops from a hooper's perspective. And if you love that kind of content, then make sure you dunk that like button and you subscribe so that you never miss a thing. With all of the offseason talk about trades and the Lakers and getting rid of Westbrook, we're going into training camp starting today with LeBron's mini camp with the team that we have. They just made 2 recent moves by signing Patrick Beverley and Dennis Schroeder. They are very point guard heavy, but I'm about to show you incredible information that I have done digging up the reasons, the 5 main reasons the Lakers can be title contenders this season. Number 1, the parity. Wait till you see this. Just like the chart that I showed you early on, the preseason favorites right now are the Boston Celtics. Now, this is pulled today. Their coach just got suspended for a year. I don't know if I like that as much. You may not think, oh, it's all the players. They don't need a coach. No. That coach created that culture there. If you saw what they did against the Bucks, against the Nets, locking Kevin Durant up, that dude, Umi, he brought a defensive mindset to that Celtics team that I don't know if it can be duplicated. Now, what does that mean? Who did the Lakers just get? Darvin Ham. What has he talked about all preseason? I don't care who starts. It's going to be whoever puts in the most effort. It is going to be a battle for these starting spots. I love that. But if you look at these preseason odds right now, the Lakers are sitting in the 10th spot. Now, this may look good. It may look terrible. But here is the biggest difference that I see this season compared to most seasons. The parity. If we are to take a look at the 2017-18 preseason odds, you will notice the Golden State Warriors with that Kevin Durant-led team. Or wait, was it Steph-led team? You guys choose. You guys comment down below. I think it's a Steph-led team. But they were the overwhelming favorites. And if you look at the plus, the next team, your LeBron James-led team with the J.R. Smith debacle, whatever at the end of the game, in second place. If you go down this list, the 10th spot right now was the Toronto Raptors at 15,000. If we go back to the NBA futures, to get to the 15,000, you got to go down 22 spots to the Charlotte Hornets, 22 spots to get into the Washington Wizards and the Charlotte Hornets. There is so much more parity in the NBA this league, and that is what I think gives the Los Angeles Lakers an edge up. For the first time, and it seems like 20 seasons since LeBron James took his talents to the South Beach back in 2008, there is some major parity in the NBA this season. I'm not being overly optimistic. I just see it with my own eyes. Every single year, there's been just some monster team or 2 monster teams, and it was basically they were going to the finals. And let's just be honest, it was the Cavs and it was the Warriors forever, or it was some Warriors-led team. But this year, even coming off the championship season last year, they are not the favorites. The parity is so much thinner. The Vegas odds, 1 through 10, they are way tighter than they have ever been. Now, if you look at the, Brooklyn Nets, they have a star-studded pack with Kevin Durant, with Kyrie Irving, with Ben Simmons. But other than that, you can argue that the bench is not that deep. You look at some of these younger squads. I love the Boston Celtics, but they lost their coach. Phoenix Suns have always made a run, but who was playing with them and toying with them in 2021 in the playoffs? The Lakers. So the Suns that year, Utah, they had these incredible records, but once it comes to postseason, when you have stars like Anthony Davis and LeBron James, you can win these games in the playoffs. They're just trying to get to the playoffs, and that's it. So the parity in the NBA, you hear teams from the Clippers to the Hawks to the Nets to Milwaukee to Golden State to Phoenix. Everybody kind of has this chance, and you can make an argument for a lot of those teams, where in the past, it was basically 1 or 2 teams, and that was it. Number 2, the Lakers have brought in a lot of youth and defensive-minded players. Now, I'm about to bring up some statistics, some charts that will really prove this point, because right now, the whole talk of the offseason was getting rid of Russell Westbrook. But I'm here to tell you right now, We're going to talk about him in number 3, and there is a lot of information that we got to get to there. But first, when we got younger, that means that we can extend this regular season out and we can shrink the minutes of Anthony Davis and LeBron James. If you look at the 2020 season regular when they won the championship, Anthony Davis was averaging 32 minutes a game. Come the playoffs, 38. And I'm going to show you his statistics in a little bit of how much he improved. But that's what the regular season is all about. It's a young man's game. You go in and you play these young teams like the Hornets and even the Houston Rockets. You're going to get 150% from these players every single game. The Sacramento Kings, you go to any game, they're going to have like 5 people in the stands. But when the Lakers show up, it's going to be packed. So I remember this as a college player. When we would just go play some of these smaller colleges, there was like 800 people in the stands. It wasn't as much energy. We still played hard. But when we would go to those big colleges that sat 12,000, 15,000 people, they had their own news studio. There was NBA scouts up in the audience. The tempo goes through the roof. The animosity, the competition, it really, 10Xs. And that's the Lakers face every night. So you got to have young dudes. Now let's go check out some stats. This here is a Reddit board that I found because I did a ton of research trying to find the last 20 teams and their defensive ratings. So does defense win championships? A lot of times. I would say 80-90% of the time, your defense is ranked in the top 7-8, if not better. There are some outliers, like your 2001 Los Angeles Lakers with Kobe Bryant, where they were 21st in defense. But if you look at this list, and it doesn't show, the last 2 seasons, this is from 2020, but what was regarded the best defense last season, 2022, was the Boston Celtics. And who ended up having a better defensive rating at the end of the finals? The Golden State Warriors. So they cranked up the defense. Andrew Wiggins, that boy about to get paid. But if you look at this, 3rd, 5th, got an outlier there, 11th, but their offense was just insane. And that was, some injuries, whatever. But 2nd, 10th, 1st, 3rd, 9th, 4th, 8th, 4th, 6th, 1st, 2nd, 9th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. And then you got your outliers with that Shaq Kobe run right there with the 7th and 21st. But then after that, look at 1st, 3rd, 1st, 3rd. And if I rewind and go to the very top, this is the last time that the Lakers won the championship. They had the 3rd best defense. And one of the other things that I remember is that Lakers team before they got Anthony Davis with all the young talent that they had drafted. LeBron James led that young team up to 4th in the West until he pulled his groin in Christmas Day, at that game against the Warriors, and they obviously failed after that. Now, talking from a Hooper's perspective, what happens is if you have these younger role players, you have Dennis Schroeder, you have Kendrick Nunn, you have Patrick Beverly, you have Austin Reeves. You have a lot of these dudes who had to fight, scratch, and claw to get any minutes. These are bona fide role players, right? Now, Westbrook's a hard physical player, but this is also a guy who, has just been the best on his team in high school, college, and even in the pros. So having that role player mentality, I just don't see it really working. But you are so deep on that backcourt right now with the Dennis Schroeder, with the Patrick Beverly, with Kendrick Nunn. That's just the thing. We're going to talk about why Russell Westbrook is or isn't going to help the Lakers. But right now, having the younger talents come in with the Thomas Bryant, I'm super high on Damian Jones. One of my favorite players in that 2020 season was JaVale McGee. The dude is one of the most underrated centers ever. He's not going to give big minutes, but he gets his hand on so many balls. He blocks tons of shots. Those are things that ignite the bench, get the team excited. It leads to fast breaks. It leads to dunks, and that can completely change games. So I love this young defensive-minded coach, and I love this young defensive-minded team with a bunch of role players. This is what LeBron James absolutely needs, and if they get into their spots, they can knock down some shots, but it starts on the defensive end, and you saw it right there. It is defense that wins championships. Reason number 3 that the Los Angeles Lakers can be title contenders is because of your boy, Russell Westbrook. Look, it's either make or break this season. He's either going to be playing at a very high, exceptional level like he used to, or he's out of here. And I don't believe he's going to get traded. I think they hold on to the picks. They're so deep in that backcourt that they can go in with Dennis Schroeder, Patrick Beverly, Kendrick Nunn, and they will have probably the deepest backcourt in the entire league. But this is something that you really got to understand. As we can see here, he was 2nd place last year in a bad way in turnovers. So the only person that had more turnovers than him last year was Trae Young. But this is something that has really plagued Russell Westbrook in his entirety of his career. But it's only because he was wearing the purple and gold last season that he actually shows this major weakness to be something that the press brings up, that everybody talks about. He's had a lot of turnovers. He averaged almost 4 a game. In fact, he had the highest total in a one game last season with 10 turnovers. So Westbrook, he can turn this around. He can really go be electric. And if the guy accepts actually a role coming off the bench, playing against the other team's second unit, he can be electric. This can really revitalize his career. And you might be saying, hey, NBA white guy, that looks terrible for the Lakers. Well, here's the thing. Darvin Ham has come in and said, look, it's open competition. We are going to run competition to see who the starters are. We know it's going to be Braun. We know it's going to be AD. But the other spots, they're wide open. And I believe he means it. Last season, Frank Vogel, he had to play him. Westbrook comes in. That is just the way that it was. And when he benched him a couple games toward the end of the season to finish it, that was a little bit interesting. But he also kind of got his butt spanked by the front office. Darvin Ham has been given the permission to do what he wants with this roster. And every word out of Darvin Ham's mouth has been either competition and earn it, right? Earn it on the defensive end is the third thing that he says, and it's also the first thing that he cares about. So, again, when you have these young, hungry players, and I think Darvin Ham's going to go more into this with like a college coach almost of like, look, battle it out. Let's go. This is going to create immense competition in training camp and hopefully makes this team unite and have incredible chemistry. So I think Westbrook being on his contract year at the end of it, this is something to where they can probably just move off of him and get him out of the locker room if he becomes a problem, or he buys into it and he becomes this triple-double monster that we've known for the past 10 plus years, and he takes a lot of that energy on the defensive mind. That backcourt right there is going to get into some teams. If you're loving this kind of content, please go down and dunk that like button right now. Hit the like button. It helps your NBA white guy out. Number 4 is the AD bounce back. We got Anthony Davis back. Look, I know he's been just hammered with injuries, and his last 2 seasons seems to have been just almost an entire waste. Last season, he was atrocious, but I think you would admit, I would admit, and anybody who watched him would admit, he just wasn't himself. And you know what the other thing that I noticed was? None of them got along. It was bad. In fact, there was a time when him and Dwight Howard were fighting on the bench. There were times when all the players would go to the bench and they weren't talking to each other. This just makes for bad basketball. I've been doing so many videos on this, the Hoopers mindset, right? The best teams, yes, they have incredible defensive ratings. The reason they have those is because they work together. That is the most important thing about championship basketball, is the chemistry. When you hear these teams talk after they win a championship, they usually always say, we were tight. Every day we hung out before practice, after practice, during games. We had team dinners. They connect. And last year there was no connectivity and there was just finger pointing. That has to stop. And again, going back to the competition, again, when you have all of these players who have scratched and clawed and fought for their playing positions in any minutes that they have gotten, those role players will really ignite LeBron James to be that leader again, as he loves watching people who play hard. But let's take a look at Anthony Davis's 2019-2020 season. This is when I feel like we had a good, healthy Anthony Davis. Now, he did run into a little bit of injury at the end. Having that break and then going to the bubble really seemed to help him. But this was arguably the second best player in the entire NBA, maybe at least top 5. But he is a game changer. I think he is on the ultimate rebound season. He's heard all the grumblings. He fired his strength coach. He is on a diet. Hopefully he gets a shoe that's taller than an inch tall so he doesn't keep rolling his ankles. But if we notice, I mean, he played 62 games. I'll take that, right? You're going to have some nights off, but you have young Thomas Bryant. You have Damian Jones who can shoulder this. But I really want to see this 65, plus games for Anthony Davis. He averaged 34 minutes, 26 points, 9 boards. He was shooting 33% from three-point field goal range and 50% just normal field goals. But when does it matter most? In the postseason. In 21 games, he upped his average to 28 and 10, basically. He also played an extra 3-4 minutes a night. And if you look at his field goal percentage, it went up 7%. If you look at his three-point percentage, that went up 5 to 6%. Bubble AD is a scary AD. Revenge season AD is a scary AD. This is a massive reason that the Lakers can pull off a title if they get to the postseason. And I never want you to forget what happened the next season after they won the championship. They went into the postseason, they faced the Phoenix Suns, and for the first 2 games, they toyed with them. It was over. Season done for the Suns. They were atrocious. And then Anthony Davis went down, and the Suns ended up beating the Lakers and going all the way to the finals. If you take that Lakers team healthy, Anthony Davis, to the finals, there's a good chance they win that. And that is the power of having Anthony Davis at that NBA All-Star level. He's a scary top 3, top 4 player, and it's not even close. So we get him in full health, you watch out. And the 5th reason, the most important, this will make or break the season for the Lakers, is the King. The King, he has been fueled his entire career by disrespect. I mean, just think about it. When he went to Miami, he wore the black. He was the villain. He wanted to make sure that everybody knew he was the best. Those 2012 seasons, those Miami seasons, that was a scary, ridiculous Bron. That is easily the best basketball player on the planet. And if you look back at those seasons, that is definitely the most scary, athletic human being that's ever walked this planet. Then he wins 2 championships there. He goes back to Cleveland. He was told he could never win. This is going to be something that really detriments his career. He goes from 3-1 down in the finals to win and arguably takes the GOAT conversation over. Then he goes to LA and he is told that he is just LA Bron and he's just there to work in Hollywood and make money. And he won another championship. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, all the grumblings of him not even being in the top 5 in the NBA right now, he washed, Westbrook, this won't work. He's fueled by it. All he needs is these younger, talented players who fight for their roles and play defense. And Darvin Ham gets this team to get back to a top 3, top 4 defensive team. Watch out. Let Anthony Davis and LeBron do their thing. There's just too much parity in the NBA right now. With a lot of these teams not having 3, 4 mega stars and just having either 1 mega star and some role players or 2, they can match up with anybody. I don't care about defensive schemes. I don't care about anything. It boils down to effort at the end of the day. I've played basketball my whole life and through college, and sometimes we went out on that court with 10 times the talent and got our butts kicked because the other team wanted it more. And if the Lakers want it more every single night, and that's why I love some of this younger talent surrounding it around LeBron James, it will fuel him to go out there and do what he does. LeBron James is the king. Those are the 5 reasons they could be title contenders. Again, make sure you dunk that like button and comment down below. What do you think the Lakers will end the season in the regular season going into the playoffs? I think they'll be about a 6th, 7th seed. This allows them to get into the playoffs, maybe a little bit of a playoff game, but other than that, if they're healthy, that's one of the scariest teams in the NBA. I am your NBA white guy. I talk all things NBA hoops from a hooper's perspective. And if you like that content, then make sure you tap that subscribe button so that you never miss a thing. Until my next video, homies, we'll catch you later.